Hicks, welcome to the Not So Secret Agent podcast, where we learn from top real estate agents how they maintain a thriving business, all while living the good life. Hey guys, welcome to the show. I am here with Noelle Banks. Hi Nicole, thank you so much for doing this. Noelle, God bless
It's
America.
okay.
Yeah, I know your name, and I don't know why I did that.
It happens.
Thank you so much for doing this, despite the fact that I pretended I did not know your name. And you're one of the guests that I'm probably the closest with. So that is not a good start. But tell me a little bit about how you got started in real estate.
Well, so my other career that I've had for 25 years is a flight attendant with Delta. And I had a friend who lived down the street who was also one. And I was talking to her before I had kids. I was kind of looking for something else to do. So she was a broker owner of a real estate office and said, hey, I think you'd be a great realtor. And I said, oh, well, I was just kind of thinking I'd answer phones or something like that. I don't have any business experience. And she said, no, I think you'd be good at it. And that's how it all started. So I kind of got in. She owned her own company. I worked there for a year and a half and then went to a major name brokerage. And 21 years later, I'm still doing real estate.
So it must have taken a little bit, right? A little bit.
Yeah.
You were like, I guess this works. Maybe, sort of, kind of.
I'd say I kind of toyed around with it, played with it for about a year and a half. And then I was introduced to Brian Buffini and he used to have half-day seminars. That was in 2004. And so I went to his half-day seminar and it struck a chord with me. And he showed this scene from Mr. Holland's Opus where I can't think of the actor's name now, I'm going blank, but where the band director got the girl to believe in herself. And when there was that connection, I thought, oh, there's something here. And there's something to this guy and there's something to this organization that's not just about making money and that's it, And so I made that connection. I plugged in with coaching and with zero business experience at all. I let Buffini & Company just completely train me from that first day, from getting into coaching.
That is a huge leap of faith, right? To go from, man, we're not playing with this. No, I'll go ahead and sign a contract to have a coach.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
That's massive.
Yeah. And personally, I think their coaching fees are extremely reasonable. But at that time, that was a lot of money for me to commit to something that was really out of my field. But the person who brought me, she looked at me and she said, you know what? Just sign straight up for coaching. Don't think about it. Don't look back. And it was the best advice for me getting going in real estate. And I just trusted her and trusted that. And it was the right decision. So now I feel very skilled in business, but I have to credit almost all of it to Buffini & Company, because before that, I didn't know anything about it. I was a French major, so not business.
What? Those don't translate?
No. Right. No pun intended.
Actually was a pun intended there. But so you get in there, you've got your why. You said, hey, I just need to make a little extra money. I'm doing the stewardess thing. I'm seeing the world. And now I'm a realtor. This is great. And so your why has to shift over the years. I mean, because in the beginning, I'm going to make a couple extra bucks. This is fun. But now what's driving you?
Now I'm thinking, wow, I can actually do lots of things if I have a little bit more money, because it is a tool, right? Yes. And there's only so much you can do with limited resources. So we were able to explore lots of different things. So one thing was my husband used to teach at a private school for 20 years. And we wanted to really travel around the world with our kids. And that kind of became restrictive. So fast forward in 2015, he was able to retire from that and join us full-time in real estate. And we started traveling around the world with our kids. So we took them to Spain and Switzerland and Israel. And I mean, just all over, because we brought their schooling home and we had the tools and with the money and everything, we were able to do this. So then we kind of world schooled them. So that was really cool. Another passion we have is for foster kids. And so we're respite foster parents. So we are able to be home more now because we're not in two different places. And so we can take in foster kids and give full-time foster families a break. So we take in kids for maybe a week, sometimes 2 weeks. And it being able to be home more with real estate, funding that, we're able to do that. So just lots of cool things like that we're passionate about in life that we can spend a lot more time on because we're not tied up in working so many hours off at a job.
So you're traveling all over the world with the kids. And so
Mhm.
clearly your team has grown beyond you because if you're both in another country, who's helping you with your clients, right? So what does your team look like now?
So Brad and I are licensed realtors. I'm an associate broker, and then we have a virtual assistant company, and that's been a recent change, and it's been excellent. And I've had just kind of a offshore overseas virtual assistant in the past, and that just didn't really work well for me. Now I have a brilliant person who has her own company, and she has different people that do different things. So she has a social media person and a admin person and a systems person and a party planning person. And because what I learned is I've had employees in the past who were assistants, but they kind of have one specific skill set. So you either
Hmm.
have several of them and manage several employees, which for some people works great. For me, it just was not. I don't want to manage people. So I let this brilliant gal who started her virtual assistant company, she manages her people and I tell her what we need and we coordinate on that and then it gets done. So there's that. I also have a transaction coordinator that I've had for 10 years and she is brilliant at what she does. She's just what I call talent. She goes above and beyond all the time, always has. And that works really well. So it's Brad and I as agents. We've got Robin, my transaction coordinator, and our virtual assistant team. Um, and then so I have another person who works in our real estate brokerage who has his own company for home showings. So if we
Hmm.
both couldn't be here for home showings, then we contact him and he'll go show the home.
So
So
literally his whole company is just showing houses. He isn't an agent
he does
also,
some
or
real
he
estate on the side, but his main focus is, and he's got some people under him that help, and they go and show houses. They'll attend a closing, attend an inspection, different things like that.
so yeah, he's popping doors and doing that.
Yes.
And then the virtual assistant thing sounds really because that is
Yeah.
true. Like we've been I kind of started this show chasing a team, like learning all the
Yes.
parts and figuring all that out. And as I talk to people, it's like even some of the guys that had bigger teams, a lot of people have gotten gutted lately. The market came down and their team members came trying to talk about commission splits. And really, honestly, you need that capital to make the phone ring for you to continue to drive the business. But to have somebody where it's kind of on a need basis and then to have separate experts for each field completely makes sense to me because if you're good at transaction coordination, you're probably not good at marketing. Those are two opposite ends of the spectrum. And the same
Right.
thing with us as agents, right? Like,
Yeah.
usually the one that can make the phone ring is probably less detail oriented, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
super interesting. I'd never. You're gonna have to, if you want to plug them, you can, or you can give me their info separately. I would definitely
Yes.
be curious about that.
So the company is called Your Agent Asset, and the owner, her first name is Tessa, which is asset spelled backwards.
Okay,
So
I like the
yep,
marketing there. Like nice.
I know. Yeah. So she is based out of Colorado and then has her team in various places. So oh, I'd have to look it up, but I think it's Agent Asset Marketing. I would just look up Agent Asset and you'll find it there. Not marketing, but agentasset.com. You'll find them. But she's brilliant. So really, really good at what she does.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to look into that because that is something that we've been toying with, and to the point where I'm doing like a co-op where we had a couple of agents who are producing and we were like, well, if we stuck all our money together to do like client parties together, and that totally makes sense on that piece of it. But
Yeah.
trying to do a hire has been a little bit more tricky because it's just, three different people throwing things at you and that just doesn't make as much sense. And
Right.
if you had a company, then you'd be structured for that. So that would, I'm definitely going to look into that. So
Yes.
already you've taught me something else. Like, I'm gonna owe you
Good.
so much by the end of this, like
No, not at all.
for sure. Uh, so since it's just you and Brad, you probably don't have any quotas or anything like that. I mean, it's just as many as we can get done, and set your own personal
Yeah.
goals, that sort of thing.
Right. We've got our goals and yeah, and that's about it. Yeah. And it's
Imagine
so
that.
different. I mean, everybody's different. There's some people who thrive on having 30 employees and they do well with that, right? And then there's some people who are just fantastic on their own. I'm sure they've got to
Hmm.
have some sort of support, admin support, but I've just learned for us, we are just not a fan of having employees other than ourselves, on our payroll and that type of thing. And leveraging other people who are really good at what they do, and that works better for us instead of trying to find a assistant who does it all. Yeah. So
I feel like finding an assistant who does it all well, I mean, would be hard. I mean, my assistant's
yeah,
amazing. I love her. But,
yeah,
there's definitely like this is her wheelhouse and I know
yes,
what fills her cup to do. And like I
yeah,
try to keep her there because what you get excited about is what you're gonna do really well, right?
yes,
When you're like, I'll do it because you're making me, it tends to be a little less, right? Um,
yeah,
so what are you guys doing to generate business right now? I know you do like the calls, notes, pop buys, or a variation of that because that's what we
yeah.
do. But what does
Right.
that look like for you?
Well, just yesterday we had our fall client party, which was a pumpkin patch. So we invited people out to this pumpkin patch and did lots of different layers of invites, paper invitation, evite, texting. So I've learned that kind of helps because some people respond to one and not the other. But we had them all out to the pumpkin patch, had our little banner out there, and then we bought them tickets. We bought them, gave them coupons for a pumpkin to pick at the end, and they got to go around and enjoy the farm, a corn maze and animal petting and all that kind of stuff. So it was really, we've done it before. This was a new farm that we went to this year, but it was great. People love it. They can bring their kids. We take a nice photo of them. They had this little tractor there. We could pose them all in the tractor, and then they get the photo as a keepsake. So I think just deepening that and connecting with them. Some of them really, I think really appreciate it too, whether it's a single parent or not. But there were some that just expressed, oh, we're so grateful we could enjoy a day. We can't really afford to do this right now, or something like that. And so it's nice that, oh, great, I'm glad I could help in a little way. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, the client parties are great. I think um, I always remember Brian saying the single most impactful thing he ever did was writing a personal note. So I know we all do notes, but I really do go back to that. I think there is a lot of power, and there's so much that gets open in the mail or that gets thrown out in the mail, and yet those personal notes still get opened. I mean, even when I'm like, oh, this looks personal, So
Hmm.
I think to me that's the most powerful.
I I really like them too. I mean,
Yeah.
I really go back to like even when we go to convention, you meet so many people, and I try to take notes on their business cards. So I'll remember, you know what I mean? Because you have all those meaningful relationships and that sort of thing. But I'm with you.
Yeah.
Like I'm really big on it. If I've talked to you in any way, I don't even pay a contractor without writing a note on it. You
Yeah.
know, right?
Nice.
Like seriously, I thank you. You did an excellent job, or I really like this part that you did. If they didn't do an excellent job, I find something I like because I always
Right.
want them to be positive.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, I'm with you. I think those are really powerful. You also had mentioned to me the whole be epic thing, and this is
Yes.
selfish for me because I had Heather on and she
Oh
mentioned
yeah.
it, and we were supposed to do something, and we both got busy and just haven't yet. So I was like,
Okay.
testimonial here.
Highly recommend the Be Epic program, and it's really taken our marketing way. I wouldn't even say up a notch. It's just to a whole nother level. Um, Heather is brilliant at systematizing things. She's just so brilliant at that, and at other things too. But she's really great with systems. Kat, who is her partner with Be Epic, is brilliant with marketing. So you blend the two of them together. I mean, it's just pretty darn good. And I know Heather has always been very consistent with her postcards over the years. They're
Hmm.
brilliant postcards. They catch your attention. She's good at what she does on that. So I figure me again, not with any kind of business background or marketing background, let me just trust the people who I've seen for myself do well at it, and they deliver without flaw. I mean, just every month it's ready. I do a couple. We prepare our videos for it. We prepare, our photos for the postcard, and then we kind of hand the rest to our team and make sure they execute it, doing the blog and everything. And it's been consistent since day one. And I can't say that about a lot of things. It's hard
It
to
is.
do that. But if I tell myself all I've got to do is film these videos and do the postcard video or photo, then and you get someone else to do the rest. They just plug and play. If those people know how to use a couple things like Canva or some other software, things like that, it's plug and play. So to me, it's a no-brainer. I highly recommend it.
Is she having you market to other agents? I know I get, my postcards from her. Like, when you meet her and she puts you on her list, and then you're going to get postcards as an agent that,
Right.
is that part of it, or is it strictly more for your
No,
clients?
the Be Epic is all geared towards your clients.
Okay.
However, she strongly encourages also marketing to other agents, but the material that she's providing you is geared towards your clients. So you could take your own twist and gear it towards other agents, which is something I do want to do. But yeah, this is really more client focused, which is good because some people say, oh, well, if I do that, then everybody will be, no, because we all have our own set of clients. Now,
Hmm.
if we all send the same thing to other agents, that would be a little, so that's where that gets tricky.
Yeah, I can see that. I still get the Buffini item of value emailed to me on a regular
Yeah,
basis, believe it or not. And I'm like, I met you at a convention, so clearly I have that, which I think is hilarious.
right.
So, what's working right now to generate business? Where are you getting new clients from? That's always been interesting to me because everybody has a different answer for that.
Um, I mean, I just have to really ultimately from our database.
Hmm.
Um, and just working consistently, being in front of them, doing our client parties, our notes, and all that. It's just more referrals from there. We also are a unicorn, is what David Sidoni calls it. If you're familiar with David Sidoni, so he is out in California and has the #1 home buyers podcast, How to Buy a
Hmm.
Home. And so we're one of his unicorns in Atlanta, and so he has sent us some leads. Um, and they're great. They're great connections. I hate even using that word lead because but
Well, it's a referral. It's a relationship that
they're
he's
referral.
lending you
And
clout for.
yeah, and it really is because they really trust him because he's built that trust with them over the podcast, and then we're direct referral from him. So we've had some great experiences from that. Yeah, and just and repeat clients. I mean, that's really where all our business comes from.
Yeah, the repeat clients are always my favorite. I already know how to work with you. The
Yeah.
trust. We've won the game before, so that they give you that little bit. They don't. Yeah, no, that's. I think I'm 89% by referral at this point. So I'm right
Okay.
there with you on that. But I'm always looking for
Yeah.
new ways to fill the front end. You know what I mean? To meet more people, to stay in
Yes.
front of them, all that good stuff. Hence the reason for that question, I suppose. Um, so you do, how many client parties do you do a year now?
Right now, we've been doing about 4. So beginning of the year, we do it's called Love Fest for Your Very Best, a Valentine's party
Hmm.
that was inspired by Heather Roxburgh. But that's where it's an invite only formal dinner. It's only for people who have bought or sold or sent us referral that year. Exclusive invite to that one. Then we do a fun movie party in the summer. We just did our pumpkin patch party, and then we'll do like pictures and cookies and stuff with Santa in December.
Okay. The
Yeah,
VIP party has been on my list for a while and I have not gotten it done. I said it
yeah,
2 years in a row now, and neither year I write it down and it just has not manifested yet.
yeah. You can
So
do it.
yeah, we'll get there. I got faith in me. We'll get there eventually.
That's right.
What's one tip you would give somebody working the system right now, especially in this market? You got a new agent, they're coming on. What do you tell them?
2 things. 1, plug into Buffini and Company, hands down. 2, be consistent. Whatever you do, be consistent.
You hear that, Brian? You go ahead and send the royalty checks to the Not So Secret Agent podcast. We are plugging you hard because I've said very much the same thing as far as Buffini and Company. Very much had success there, and the consistency thing is everything. Like, how do I trust you to do my biggest asset if I can't trust you to call me back? Or
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, I need to know you're going to do what you say you're going to do. So yeah, no,
Yep.
I think that's a great tip. Uh, any tweaks you've made to the system, or are you a purist? Do you do your pop buys?
Yeah, we do. Brad tends to actually physically do them, and I kind of get them ready and prepare them type thing. But yes, tweaks. I was going to say, well, you said one thing for before. I mean, one
No,
other
you
thing
can
I
give
would
me as
just say
many as you
is,
want.
okay, is just really showing that you care too, being consistent, but also showing that you care, right? Brian always talks about people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Hmm.
And that goes a long way in business, as you know. Um, so that's really, really helped. Okay, let's see, back on your other question, which was any tweaks. I don't know, just like the Be Epic, right? So
Hmm.
that's not just straightforward Buffini stuff, but it's still, I'm still just marketing to my database. I'm not sending it to, blanket people in the neighborhood that I don't know or something. Now
But
it's out
that,
there on YouTube, so anyone could listen, but yeah.
but I think that's a good example of a tweak, right? Because she does the postcard as opposed to a straight newsletter, with the idea
Yes.
of they don't have to open it. It's one. We made it a little easier, you know. Uh, um, so I definitely think that's a legit tweak where, it makes sense.
Yep.
I think that one's really cool. I think the other thing that I know about you, because we do know each other, is just the way you've taken time to make people feel special. Like you really go out of your
Oh,
way to like take it and like when I'm sure I know I get excited when I see a note from you. You know what I
aw.
mean? Because you do actually. It's not like, hey, it was great meeting you at the convention. Thanks, bye. Which is you get a lot of those, which is fine because
Yep.
I know what you're doing and you know what I'm doing, but great. But I always feel like you always take the time to say, hey, look, no, I really do know you, and here's something that I think would be helpful, and I think that's awesome. And I would imagine if you do that with me, who you met briefly at a convention, you probably do that with your clients, very hard. You know,
Oh, thank you.
you're welcome.
Yeah.
What
Being a flight
process?
attendant, learned how to be personable with people, so that helps.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I came
Yeah.
from the teaching world, and I would argue it's similar.
Okay.
A
Yes.
little bit. I definitely taught some elementary school art for many years, so I know where
Okay.
you're coming from. Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
it it definitely it helps with your communication skills. Sometimes I think it was
Yes.
easier to explain the elementary school kids than it is to some of my clients, but you know what I mean. They're
Yep.
they're the same. Getting a message across.
Yeah.
So, who is your ideal client? Do you do an avatar for an ideal client or no?
Um, I'm right in the middle of kind of developing that. I am leaning towards leaning into the Delta world a little bit more. I've recently
Hmm.
served several pilots, an engineer with Delta, a flight attendant too, and I'm kind of liking that niche, right? And they actually really appreciate me because I understand their world. I mean, when
Hmm.
a pilot goes to explain his schedule, I'm like, oh yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, other
Gotcha.
people don't.
I'll hear from you in
All
a
the
week.
airline, yeah, all the airline lingo and commuting that people don't understand, all that, I get it, so it makes their life a little easier in a transaction when they don't have to explain all that to me.
Hmm.
um, so I'm kind of working on developing that niche specifically with Delta, and have a little plan to maybe go talk to some higher ups that I have some connections to there and see where that can go.
Do a
And
little
maybe
home buyer training, maybe.
possibly that, and I'd like to really focus on sending a lot of referrals outward, as opposed to so much inward. I mean, I think inward referrals are great. We all love them, right? But
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of value in sending them outwards too. And through Delta, there's people all over the country, and I
Hmm.
can have a wonderful network that I can connect them to. So it's kind of in the works on that.
I mean, it makes sense. You definitely know top agents from like across the country. There's
Yeah,
this one in Richmond that would be very appreciative
right
if you were
there,
included.
right there. Danny Hicks, everybody.
Right. I love it. The
Yep.
shameless plug. Da, da, da. All right. What's your favorite quote? And this doesn't have to be from a Buffini event, but they often are, because he does pretty good with the quotes.
Yeah, this one is not. It's Ralph Waldo Emerson, and it is do not go where the path may lead, but go where there is no path and leave a trail.
I love it.
And I'm all about that. Probably that. I'll give you one more. I can never do just one.
That's fine. It's fine.
But one more would be the not all who wander are lost.
Yeah,
And
both of those are great.
those two are like really me. Anyone who knows me really well is like, oh yeah, that's you.
but
So
but that self-awareness is cool too, to know what you're about. You know what I mean? Like I
yeah,
talk to people a lot, and they're like, yeah, some of this and some of that, but whatever. Whereas you're like, no, I'm leading the path. I don't care where you're going. You know, you can follow me because I left you a trail, because I'm going where no one else is going,
right. I
which
love
is
it. I love
really
it.
cool. So, what was your biggest takeaway from an event?
Oh, biggest takeaway from an event. Oh gosh, I don't know which event or any event.
Any event.
Hmm. I don't know. I'll just think of something. I loved Neil Pasricha,
Mm-hmm.
who spoke, and the Book of Awesome, and just how many things we really have that we can be grateful for. That it doesn't have to be this, giant thing. I love how he simplified it. Warm socks from the dryer or whatever it was. It's like, yeah, that's a good thing. It's cool,
Mm-hmm.
right? Why don't we say thankful, that we're thankful for little things like that? So that's been really, it's really good, because I think you can't be like in a depressed state and be grateful at the same time. Brian
No,
talked
you
about that
can't.
once. And that's really powerful. So I really try and remind myself of, let's be grateful for everything. And we've employed with our kids, we now do it at dinner. We go around and say a rose, thorn, and bud, which are roses are things you're grateful for. Thorn is something you're struggling with or a challenge. And then a bud is something you're looking forward to. And I think it's been a great thing to implement with our kids. So I would say, maybe like if I had to pick one big overall takeaway, is the things that we can take home and implement or transfer to the next generation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Legacy.
I'm all about that. I also help with a freshman high school girls at our church, and help lead a group with that. And I try and share anything. I just feel like we're so blessed with all the wisdom we get from Buffini Company. We just need to, fast forward it on to others too. So that's when I'm a pay it forward. That's what I was looking for. So whether it's sharing with the freshman girls that I work with there, or foster kids, or my own kids, I love getting takeaways that can help them in their
Mm-hmm.
lives.
It's amazing how much of it is applicable beyond real estate, right? I mean, real estate
Yep.
for sure, but then I mean, I even have conversations with agents like I'm doing a deal with, and I'll spit something out, and they'll stop me and be like, wait, and but I'm so used to talking to you or Greg or Jeremy or whoever, and we speak our own separate language. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But they'll stop you and be like, that was like really epic, and you're like, no, we just say that. Like,
Yeah.
we mean it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you're just glossing over the words, but it's so ingrained in us, and they're so hungry for it. You know what I mean? I feel
Yeah.
like the world is like swimming in information and starving for wisdom. You,
Totally.
you know what I mean? Like, we're fighting for their attention.
Yep.
And so
Yeah.
you say one epic thing, and it really hits them correctly, and they'll literally stop you in your tracks and be like, wait, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Which I think is really cool
Yeah.
when you get to pay that forward, as you said, even to agents on the other side who are supposed to be our competitors, but really, I mean, I could hand you my list of clients and you could call them, and I promise you they're not interested. I don't care who
Yeah.
you are agent wise. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because we do the job right. So,
Right.
what would your superpower be if you had a superpower?
Um, being able to read minds,
I feel like that would be
maybe.
a good one. That would definitely speed up a transaction. You don't like
Yes.
this one. Let's go. Did you just hear that? From...
Right. I think that would be really cool. Yeah. Thankfully, because I'm tall, like I used to watch Inspector Gadget when I was little. So I used to think, oh, go Gadget arms. Those are so cool. But I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of tall. I can reach everything anyway. So I'll pass on the go-go gadget arms and go for the mind reading.
Yeah, definitely mind reading is way cooler than go-go gadget arms.
Yeah,
I'm gonna second. I think you've correctly changed your wanted superpower there.
right.
That's yeah, for sure. The well, thanks so much for doing this. Really appreciate it. Tell everybody what market you serve and how they can get a hold of you if they have referrals for you.
Yes, so we are in the Metro Atlanta area. If that's covers a lot of cities, probably about 6 counties. But basically, if it's north of the airport and within about a 45-minute to an hour drive, we pretty much cover it. So you can reach us at 404-388-3961 or online at thebanksteam.com.
And that is Noelle, not Nicole Banks. Uh, Thank you again for doing this. Really appreciate it. And I will definitely be seeing you soon.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to apply this information to your business immediately. This message will not self-destruct in 5 seconds. Good luck, agents.